Hello my fellow human beings. In this video I will be covering how to script a system where something will only happen if enough players have joined the game in RetroStudio. I will also quickly show how to rotate a part with scripts at the end of the video.
So for example, let's say you're making a game that requires like 6 players to start the game. You don't want the game to start until there are like 6 players. So for example, I'm actually gonna make a new game to do this, because why not? And also it'll make things easier. So maybe you have let's say you have like a lobby, and you want it so that once there are enough players, like once there's like 2 or more players, then it sends the players into the game, into like a random map or something. And yeah. So I could also talk about randomized maps, because I wanna make a video on random maps, but again I just haven't had the time recently. But so you could, like, let's say you're making a murder mystery game again. For some reason, don't make a murder mystery game, there's enough of those, but you could use this for that. So let's say we're gonna have a lobby, right? So whap. So this is our spawn. This is the lobby. This is just an example, by the way. I would assume your lobby would be a lot nicer than this. If your lobby does look like this, then so we'll just plop a sign here. We'll say the game we'll do like 3 players needed for the game to start. And let's make our script. We'll call this like game starter, I don't know. And then let's also make a value, an int value, and we'll call this player count. Okay, you don't want me to do that? Player count. There we go. And we'll just like group these. We'll call this like I don't know, folder. So there are some handy stuff here for when players join. So player added, player removing, player chatted, and chatted specific message. Why not just talk about all of these? So player added is when a player joins the game. Player removing is, I'm pretty sure at least, when a player leaves the game. When a player speaks, when a player says something specific. So just for example's sake, we'll just make some print stuff. Player has joined, player has left, player spoke. Like, you could use this for password doors. You could say player said the phrase. So this is just, I'm making print blocks just so you could see in the console what's happening live. So this is player. When the player joins the game, this output would be what the player is. So let's say you want to get the player. When a player joins the game, it could output him as player, and then later on you could do like check if player is, like, you could check if the username of the player is something. For example, you could output this as player, and we could do get player, get his name. We'll output this as username, and then we can print his username. Maybe you want to make it so that if the player has a specific, if this is like maybe you want to give a gear to like a player, but only one player, so like an admin or something. You could check his name. Let's see, did that work? Yeah. So player has joined. This is my Roblox username. I made this like 5 years ago. And what is this? Oh yeah, this is nothing. Okay, I'm back, and so basically, I didn't really make that many changes. Just doing something. So we named this side test. Cause yeah. So in the script, so we have when the player joins the game and when the player leaves the game. So basically, what we want to do is we want to keep track of how many players are in the game. And then we also want to check if there are this many players, then it will, like, I don't know, teleport everyone somewhere. And so, what is this? Anyway, so, what we're gonna do is, when someone joins the game, we're gonna get the object property of the player count thing we made. We're gonna get its value. We're gonna call this player count. We're gonna add 1. I'm gonna do player count plus 1, and then we're gonna call this new player count, and then we're gonna set the player count to the new one we made. So value to this. So basically, when someone joins the game, it's gonna add 1 to the count. So if we load in real quick, it's gonna say there's 1. And then we just need to make it so that when someone leaves the game, we're gonna subtract 1. So kind of simple, this part. So we're gonna get the value of player count again. I'll just call this player count 2 because I don't like repeating variables very much. And this time, instead of adding, we'll subtract. We'll do player count 2 minus 1 on this new player count 2. And yeah, so this is gonna make it so when someone joined, it's gonna add 1 to the count, and when someone leaves, it's gonna subtract 1 from the count. And we're gonna make the sign say 2 players or more are needed to start the game. Okay, so we're gonna make it so that once there are enough players, a doorway is gonna open up or something. We could even give it a cool animation if we want to. I mean, yeah, that's possible. So let's just make like a... And so we're gonna make it so that once there are enough players, it's gonna open up the door, because that's cool. We'll call this door, and yeah, so we're gonna make it so that this is gonna infinitely check. It's gonna infinitely check how many players there are. So we're gonna call this layers, and it's gonna we need an if statement. I was in the wrong category. I'm gonna check if players is more than 1. If there's more than 1 player, it's gonna check what the position of the door is. Door position. I will put this here. So it's infinitely gonna check the value of the player count and the position of the door, And if there is more than one player, it's gonna split the vector 3 of the door. We call it door position, right? Yep. It's gonna split the vector 3 of the door into 3 coordinates. It's gonna add it's gonna add 0.1 to the y coordinate, and we're gonna call it new y. Then it's gonna reconstruct the vector 3 with the new coordinates. So x, new y, and z, put new door position, and then we're gonna set the door's position to new door position. So this is just gonna make it so that if there's more than one player, the door is gonna infinitely start moving up, which will eventually make it so the players can leave the lobby. You could make it so it stops after a certain height, but we don't need it since the players, in this case, let's say the player's not gonna see what's up there. There's another room here. And what else? Oh yeah, we can make it so that if the player count is less than 2, we'll do this. If the player count is less than 2, it will set the door position to, where is it? Here we go. It's gonna set it to this. Where's the vector 2 going? So this is the regular position of the door. So basically what we just did, because I don't know if I did a good job explaining there, this is gonna infinitely check how many players there are, and it's gonna check the position of this door. And if there's more than one player, it's gonna infinitely move the door up by 0.1. And if there's less than 2 players, it's gonna infinitely teleport the door to this position. This will help so that if the game, whatever game it is, ends and then it takes you back to the lobby, it will close the door again. And just, yeah. But this is gonna be quite laggy. Gonna be quite laggy. So let's make a wait here. This is only gonna do it every, like, let's say 1 second. And then for this we can make it every 0.1 seconds, because this is probably just gonna be constantly going. This is probably bad code idea here, but I don't know, I'm tired, man. And this is gonna keep it kinda smooth. So for the sake of example, let's just set this to be equal to 1, so we can just see if the door thing works. Does it work? Yeah, it definitely works, but it's just taking forever. Okay, the door was taking way too long to open. Let me just increase that. We'll go back in here, game starter. We'll just change this from 0.1 to just like 1. And now let's just go back in game, and oh, I think it needs to be anchored. Oh, it is anchored. Oh, yeah, so basically, why can't I move around? I forgot change this to like greater than, just because we're testing, just to make sure the door thing works. Let's see. Yep, that definitely works. So now let's just change this back to what it's supposed to be. If it's greater than 1, and if it's less than 2. And then now, let's see this in action, I guess. Let me just, I'll just, for the sake of niceness, let me grab this, move it like this, and then just this. And we can change this to be like red, and we'll call this game room. I don't know. Oh, and we gotta get rid of this one. So now I'm gonna call my friend up in here, and we're gonna test if this works in a live scenario. So let's save, and then Bio, my man.
Hello.
Hi, you're on camera. So, well, not an actual camera. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Are you ready to test and watch this fail miserably?
Yup.
Okay. Don't join until I tell you to.
Alright.
So, we're gonna go into the... Well, I'm gonna go into the game, and we'll see if when it loads. So as you can see, it says 2 players or more are needed to start the game. The door is not opening, and I'm here alone and lonely. If we check the developer console, which I forgot the bind to, but luckily my good friend here knows it was the bind. F9. We can see. I don't know if my freaking IP address is here or something, but we can see it says player has joined. I'm not gonna bear it. There's no chance. Player has joined, so that works. And this is nothing important. So now you join the game.
Alright.
And once he joins, this door should start opening. Yep, the door opens with an awesome smooth animation that he missed because he was loading in. And now we get into this room. And that's basically it. Congrats.
Congratulations. You did it.
You wanna... I'm kind of proud of that stupid animation that took me like 5 minutes to do. So just leave the game. Yeah, and you joined first, and just so you can witness it.
It does close if you leave.
Yeah, it does close if you leave. Leave, and then you join first. Yeah, I also need to show that it does close. Oh, my cat's
If
meowing.
you just join now, wouldn't it show for me? Like, try and join the server.
I'm back. I also need to show that the door closes when you leave. Are you in the game?
Join the server.
Okay. So,
Hey.
the door does the animation, and it just keeps infinitely going upwards actually, because I didn't make it stop. Okay. Oh, yeah, he's gonna leave now. I mean, when the loading screen finishes. Yep. And the door closes when he leaves.
And now you're locked in the...
And now I'm locked in here. But yeah, so that's how you can make something only happen if there's a certain amount of players. I guess you could change it to like 6 players or more, and then you could make it like teleport you into a map, and then you could do murder mystery. But please don't. There are enough murder mystery games on this platform.
Seriously.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the end of the video or not, but this is the end of this recording. So bye bye. Basically, if you remember in the previous, I forgot which episode it was, like, I named this, it was this is the thing. So we made it so when you touch this, it starts moving up, and yeah, it just infinitely moves up. The script was, when the part is touched, it will infinitely get the position of the part, split it, add 1 to the Y value, reconstruct it, then set the position to the new one we've gathered, and then wait a second, and then loop again. So it's rotating a part is basically the same thing, but instead of position, it's orientation. I don't know. apparently, I don't know, so like a couple of people wanted me to make this episode, so I'm doing it. So you want to insert your script into the thingy mod job that you want to rotate. And so we could just like, I mean, you could put the script anywhere, but in this case, we're going to be referring to the part as script.parent instead of workspace.part. It's easier. So let's just do, there's a lot of new stuff that I really want. There's a lot of updates that happened, and I really want to talk about a lot of the stuff, like local script stuff, but the problem is just having time to do so. Let's make a for loop, and we'll just set all this to 0, so it's infinite. And with this loop, we'll get this part will get its orientation. We'll output this as rotation. We will split the rotation into X, Y, Z. We will add, let's say 0.1 to the X rotation, and we'll add the new X, and then we will reconstruct the vector 3 with the new variables. So my mouse is being weird. New X, Y, and Z. We'll call this new rotation, and we'll set the part's orientation to the new one we've created. Orientation. New orientation. And then we could make it like weight, like 0.1 seconds. And let's just connect all of this. And so it's gonna infinitely check the rotation of the part, add 1, and then set it to the new rotation that we've made. So if we run this, the part, oh yeah, we need to anchor it. Forgot about that. Also, we spelled something wrong. Oh, new rotation. Oopsies. Then we'll anchor this. Okay. And then now, it's rotating. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I think that's pretty awesome.